Hi, it's your coach Joe Lucas. Welcome to my latest Practice Power blog. Hey, first off, obviously, I don't live in the Northeast or in Chicago or anywhere like that. A beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Melbourne, Florida. And today, what I want to talk to you about is something that I think is very important to our entire industry, which is what's most important. What's the one thing that we value most as advisors? What's the greatest asset any business can have? And a lot of time we think about certain metrics, right? We think about assets under management. We think about trailing 12 revenue. We think about number of households, things like that, premium produced. But if you boil it all down, the thing that's most important is the goodwill that you have with your clients, client goodwill. Because think about this for a second. Do any of you, or do any of us, have a 5-year contract to be a client's advisor, a 2-year contract to be an advisor, a 10-year to be their advisor? The reality is no, it's an at-will relationship. I often say this just to freak people out from time to time. All your clients can ACAT tomorrow, and you got nothing after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Now, why is this so important? Because, I hosted our first ever Practice Power webcast last week. And, a couple of questions were about robo-advisors and what does that mean and how big of a threat they are. And here's what I'll say. If you're an advisor who just does a great job with a financial plan, does a great job investing money, and you don't add any other value, how much goodwill do you have? What you have is they're paying you to be competent. Competency does not equal goodwill. Goodwill is a byproduct of client events, touch-base phone calls, caring, really quote unquote giving a damn about your client base, not just about their money. You often heard me say for well over a decade now, people, not portfolios. And I think a lot of times, it's so easy in our industry to get caught up in this that we have to realize that the thing we always have to monitor, which I understand it's intangible, is our goodwill. So let me give you some examples of how to do it. I already did a little bit. Make sure touch base calls. They are actually more important in client goodwill than just going ahead and doing a bunch of reviews. Number 2, client events, educational events, fun events. I've got more and more clients doing these types of events, and I'm telling you what, they're one of the most important, most powerful marketing, business development, referral gathering, goodwill generating thing an advisor could do in their business. It blows me away the results we get if done properly. The other thing creating all this goodwill does for you, quite frankly, it insulates you to a certain degree from the robo-advisor phenomena. Think about this. We want to transcend not just being a financial advisor, but being a trusted family advisor, a trusted personal advisor, a trusted business advisor. That doesn't happen if you're just focused on their portfolio, if you're just focused on their financial plan. Remember this, that in our world, especially now with technology, it's actually easier for a person to go invest. It's actually easier for a person now to go get a rudimentary financial plan, an asset allocation. We see all these robo-advisors being funded by venture capitalists, from Silicon Valley to even some of you, quite frankly, at some of these firms that you're at, actually are now starting to compete, unfortunately, with your own robo-advisor scenario. So you got to remember, hey, the rule of thumb here is maximum value. How do I continue to add more value in my client relationships? Because by adding more value increases the goodwill. And one more thing. Here's what else goodwill does for you. If you happen to screw up, you sometimes you'll get a pass. Because the relationship will be so good that if you make a mistake, as long as it's not a devastating mistake, you'll probably be forgiven and given a second chance. Or, if you're not doing great returns, they'll give you an opportunity because there's more to the relationship than just returns. Goodwill is our currency, ladies and gentlemen, and you've got to remember that. So do whatever you need to do to make that call, care more. And by the way, here's the other piece. If you're an advisor and it's you and an assistant and you're running like 3, 4, 5, 600 households, there's no way, zero chance, you're going to be able to create goodwill with everybody at the levels that are needed. That's why teams, junior senior partners, joint ventures, for some of you, and I'll say this with absolute respect, get your heads out of your butts, find a junior person, do a joint venture, and create a lot of value. I hear it every week. Somebody, has got somebody in their office, somebody's been in the industry for 20 or 30 or 40 years, and they got like 600 households, and so it's a person in their 60s, and they may be talking to 75 people. And there's hundreds of people that are not being served. There's no relationship. There's no goodwill. It's just there. Those are the ones that are a threat of the robo-advisors or any competitor, quite frankly. The reality is that it's actually easier now to build a business than any time before if you know what you need to do. The era of cold calling and shoving preferreds at people and doing all those things, that is gone. Hey, that's 20th century. This is 21st century. So we need to keep that in mind and move forward, okay? And then one last thing before we let you go today. I'm coming to Dallas, Texas next month, March 23rd. It's a Monday. I'm hosting a one-day mastermind and immersion coaching meeting. You'll see a link here. Check it out. If you're in the Dallas area and you don't have to get on an airplane, hey, you really should come, right? And even if you have to get on an airplane, spend a day. It's a small group, 6 to 8, 6 to 10 people. That's what we look for. It's a one day of pure strategic time working on your business, and I will be there leading the charge. Have a great day, and I'm going to get back to enjoying this if you don't mind, and I hope forward to seeing you again very, very soon.